What's going on, everybody? This is Dave from Steel City Jones Flight Academy. Today, we're talking about the brand new Zenmuse H20N, N as in night version. So, a lot of things have happened this spring. We've had the new release of the Matrice 30 and 30T, and in addition to that, now we have this brand new camera for the Matrice 300, and a lot of people that are considering purchasing the M30 or the Matrice 300, if they're looking at the Matrice 300, they're trying to ask me a lot of questions about what's the differences between the N version and the T version. And we're going to go ahead and deep dive into that, as well as we're going to also compare this sensor in some aspects as far as the zoom capability to the Matrice 30T's camera as well. So to start off with, instead of just giving you opinions about what I feel you should get or what you should not get, we're going to show you a lot of specific footage that's going to allow you to be able to determine what you feel is going to be best for yourself. So, what's new with the H20N version? To start off with, this camera has the same capabilities as the T version as far as general thermal capability. You're able to go ahead and switch between thermal palettes. You're able to go ahead and use isotherms and have a full range of isotherm capability. So you can select different color palettes for different selected temperature ranges. So that has all that as well. So all of the same features and functionality, radiometric, you can tap on the screen and see what the temperature is exactly where you want on the screen. So all those are all exactly the same. Other features of the N version is a much improved rangefinder. Compared to the T's version is about 1,700 feet. From what my experiences have been, and anything past that, it's been hit or miss. So that significantly improves the overall range of the rangefinder significantly. Both aircraft have wide cameras as well. The area where I want to be able to concentrate on a lot of these differences and where we need to stress the differences between the models is on the thermal side and in the zoom capability of the camera. On the zoom camera, some of the differences in the specs are that the N20N has up to 20 times optical zoom and up to 128 digital zoom, versus the H20T has up to 23 times optical zoom and up to 200 times digital zoom. Now let's talk about some of the differences in the specs on the thermal camera. For the focal length, we're at 58 millimeters effective at 2 times the zoom. 2 times zoom is essentially 1 times zoom equal to the T camera, which is at effective range of 53 millimeters. So they are fairly close, but when we're comparing apples to apples, the 1 time zoom is at that range on the T, and there is no 1 times on the H20N camera. It starts at 2 times zoom, and it's right there at 58 millimeters effective range. So we did a lot of back-to-back testing at nighttime with this camera. So we started out with the N version, flying at night, and we started at 200 feet high. And at 200 feet high, the default is 2 times zoom. So you can see what it's a 2 times zoom. Then we went to 4 times zoom, the 8 times zoom, 16 times zoom, and 32 times zoom. So overall, the resolution at 4 and 8 times is significantly better than the T's version. So I'll show you right now what the T version looks like at 200 feet high, at 2 times zoom, 4 times zoom, and 8 times zoom. Again, all of the zoom capability on the T version is digital. There is no optical zoom capability on that, and you can see that it's not quite as high in resolution as the N version. Then we just kept going up in altitude. We did another test at 300 feet. And we, again, for the N version, here's what it looks like at 2 times, 4 times, 8 times, 16 times, and 32 times. Switching over to the H20T, here's what it looks like at 2 times, 4 times, 8 times. We're going to go ahead and go slightly under 400 feet. Here's the H20N at 2 times zoom, 4 times zoom, 8 times zoom, 16 times zoom, and 32 times zoom. Now I'll switch over to the H20T. Here's where it looks like at 2 times, 4 times, and 8 times. So now you have a really good understanding of where each camera is for the resolution at different flight heights and different zoom capabilities. Overall, I think that the N really starts shining around the 300-foot mark in the 4 and 8 times zoom, and we can get very decent results at 16 times zoom. But in my opinion also, we can still get good results with the T version as well. I think that if we had to fly at, say, 350 feet high, I think we would be able to make out a person or someone moving around at nighttime for a search and rescue operation with this. You may say, well, what's the difference? Why would it be even flying close to 400 feet high? If we have a lot of terrain difference in our search grid, where we have a fairly large search grid and we have a change of altitude of more than 100 feet, where you're going to set up your autonomous flights for search grids when they stay about 100 feet above the top of the tree lines. And if you have, 100 to 150 feet change in altitude, that's where I feel that an application like the N version would work very well, is if you have a lot of hilly terrain, mountainous terrain, and you need to do a lot of search and rescue. I think the N version would be very appropriate at that point. The H20T also has what's called starlight night vision, and you'll see some of the footage that we have here. And there is an improvement over the T version at nighttime when you're switching back and forth. Right now, let's switch over to the H20T, and you can see it's virtually dark, completely pitch black dark, versus on the N20N, we do have usable data. In my opinion, if you're trying to do search and rescue at nighttime, there's 2 different things you're going to have here. You want a thermal camera. So, again, we have that capability on both these cameras. And for that matter, if you really do want to use RGB camera as well, CZI makes a really good spotlight for the Matrice 300 that, in fact, it's so bright you have to turn the brightness down below 200 feet. And it's definitely bright enough to even go higher than 400 feet. So I think that you're going to want a thermal camera. Thermal camera, either way, is going to help you significantly. And you can also have a spotlight. So there are trade-offs to the zoom camera, which we're going to get into next, that you want to take into consideration when we're talking about those. And I'll talk more when we're done here about that. So let's jump into the zoom test now. So again, if you've seen our Matrice 300 and our Matrice 30T review videos, you'll know that we really like to gauge the overall zoom capability of a camera by what I call a license plate check. I like to go ahead and see how far away I can have the drone away from my license plate and be able to read it very clearly without having to guess. And again, if we're trying to read a license plate that has letters on there and to see what that overall limitation is, then we would have no problems being able to see and use cameras for inspection work, like cell tower inspections, for example. So we started out at 900 feet away, and we would go ahead and let's look at what the Matrice 30T looks like, and you can see that it is definitely readable, and it's just on the very verge right there with the noise and pixelation that I think if we go back any further, that we're going to have a little bit difficulty being able to read it. That is what I would consider to be the overall limitation of that camera. Now, let's go ahead, let's put the H20T on the Matrice 300. You can see how clear this is. And we can keep going back and back and back. In fact, we're able to go easily 1,400 feet away and still clearly see it. Once we get to about 1,500 feet away, the pixelization starts getting really on the borderline of being able to see that. So I would consider for the H20T camera's limitation on this test to be right at 1,400 feet, 1,500 feet. Now, let's switch over to the H20N, and let's go to 900 feet. As you can see, the pixelization is high. And in my opinion, anything at the 128 times zoom level is very pixelated, and we really want to keep it probably around the 64 times limit. When we jump from 64 times to 128 times, that pixelation gets pretty pronounced. And so what I want to do is I want to bring the drone in and really see where can we see that license plate clearly. And in my opinion, the 600-foot range mark is where we can see it clearly compared to the 900 and with the H20T, the much higher version. So you can see we have some limitations on the zoom side because it is a much smaller camera sensor and it is only at 4 megapixels versus the H20T's camera is at 20 megapixels and it's a larger camera sensor, which obviously explains why we have the more resolution on there. But we have the trade-off on here because what we're doing is we're adding another nighttime camera for a thermal camera, and we're also adding in the starlight capabilities for the regular nighttime, and that's where some of the trade-off comes into. So now, to conclude, I'm going to say that we really want to look at the N version if we're really only looking for nighttime capability and really are not concerned with the daytime flying as much. Or if we have nighttime flying where, again, we're very mountainous terrain, a lot of changes in altitude where we want to set up search grids and we want that extra protection so that we're always going to be at a safe margin above the highest trees and obstacles, that's, again, where this is going to shine. So, you know, if you really want the best of both worlds, when you really want the highest zoom capability for inspection work and or overall capabilities for, let's say, event monitoring or surveillance, the T version is by far your best bet. But nevertheless, we could still get good results with the daytime zoom with this. Let's say if you want to use a cell tower, I'd say you have to probably be inside of 100 feet if we really want to see clear details. Say we want to see stickers or really, let's say, surface type of condition, oxidation, rust on nuts and bolts and hardware, we have to be closer in. So I hope that really put some distinction between these two different cameras. And again, you need to determine what's right for you and what you're trying to do and accomplish. I wanted to give you some of the test data to be able to show you what some of the limitations are on both sides of these different cameras. That's going to help you make a better decision. So with that said, I'd like to ask you for a favor. If you could please, if you haven't yet, help us with the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on the video so that we can give you more good content like this. If you haven't checked out the new Matrice 30 review video, we had that for you as well. Again, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.